How's it going, Blazers? We're going to bring you specifications you can relate to so you can have an educated decision on your purchases. We're going to be talking about this new steel will knife. If folks would like to talk about this one, camera's a little bit out of focus, but we'll kind of work with that a little bit. So we'll see what this one is like. So this one is one that really was a standout for a SHOT Show. I went and saw it there, and then I was able to see it after the fact. They actually sent it to me a little bit before this, but then it actually is released as of today. So you can get it on the Steel Will website. And then I think I only saw it on one other page, but it's currently not in stock yet. But this is going to be one that's a front flipper. So it's going to be one that you actually, most of the front flippers are not as beefy. One of the new Artisans is pretty good. That's actually going around to the Pastron group as well. But this is going to be a pretty good sized front flipper knife. It does have a little bit of knurling for this, so it's a little bit different than other front flippers as well, but it has a good opening method for it, so you can actually deploy it in many different fashions to get this open. But it is a little bit of pinch factor possibly for it as far as this section down here, but that's it's nominal. It's not too bad, but we'll see what goes on with that. But we'll see also who else comes on. But this is going to sit out for a little bit, and then we'll see what else is going on with everybody. And then my desk is a mess, so I apologize for that. I got to move those things around a little bit. But leave some comments down below if you guys have any questions or concerns. What's up? Yeah, so this is going to be going around to the Apex Pastron group as well. It just came out today, so Paulina didn't want me to actually post anything about it till today. So it is available on their website as of now. So you can actually pick it up if you would like to do it that way. Otherwise, it's going to be available on some other websites as we go along. But that's going to be how that works. It's a little bit out of focus, so I'll move that up as we go. But just point up my YouTube on my phone so I can kind of see any comments that come along if there are any comments. And then we'll kind of go from there. So welcome folks along. Let's see what else we got. Turn down my volume. Charles, good to see you. So let's see what else we got. Okay, I got comments going. I have things up. So if you guys have questions on this, this is a discussion. So it's not necessarily a review because I haven't had it for very long, but it is one. If you have questions on it, then let me know. Otherwise, I'll go through some of the specifications that I was able to gather as of yet, but there's not going to be, it's not a full review or anything like that. But there's going to be, again, a front flipper knife. It's a G10 scale. There's 3 different variants that I saw on their website. It's going to have the black with the blue backspacer, and then the satin blade, and then it's going to have the black with the black stonewash, and then also blue backspacer. And then there's also the last one, which is a blue G10, and then the black stonewash. And so those are the ones that they have on there now. It is a D2 blade, so that's one thing that is still a very popular blade steel out there as far as the market goes. But so a lot of different deployment methods. So it is a little bit of a pinch factor. So I did pinch myself once before, especially when trying to do basically this top flip like this. So now with the way that this kind of sits, that can be a pinch factor, but it's not too bad. yeah, thumb stud front flipper. It's a pretty big knife too, because they list for like a 3.5-inch blade. I got like 3.7, because I think 3.5 you're going to go to the kind of this little nub right there, which is not really all the way. So down to this portion here, I got about 3.7. So that's going to be that's a little bit different for that. So you're gonna get a front flipper. Yeah, this is a pretty good one. So now there's this one. I think the Artisan one. I forgot who has that, but the Artisan one is going to be. It's also a pretty decent sized front flipper that came out. But then otherwise, the other ones are a little bit smaller because you have like the real steel, A metamorph is one that's a pretty small one, and then you're going to have like even the boost blade smoke. I mean, it's a good size knife, but it's very thin as far as the handle and everything goes. Okay, so I guess you can probably talk to a little bit about that one, because then that was, I think it was a pretty good knife. I got to handle that at SHOT Show as well, but this one that was at SHOT Show, and then I went to their booth for Steel Will, talked with Paulina, and then this is one that it stuck out. Like I handled the knives that they had there. I handled the Antlock, that was kind of a few years ago. That was like the real hot topic that came about, but it wasn't anything that really drew me. But then when I picked this one up and I was able to handle it, this is the one that I actually wanted to check out. So that's what I did. I asked if we could have it for the pass run group. I didn't hear from her for a while, and then eventually it came over to us. So that was kind of a cool thing. She must have taken some notes as far as a knife that we were interested in for the group, which is awesome. So that's it. Zach, fate from. I haven't tried any of the MKM knives because that's I think the Italy based one. Yeah, there's like a few different companies. So it works well. It's supposed to be able to do a wave feature. I tried it. It gets caught up in my pocket. So that's where I don't know if that's actually how it's supposed to be. But this one is everything's reversed. So that's one thing about, I guess, a webcam. Like everything gets flipped mirror, so all the words are backwards. But this is a right hand, left hand tip up pocket clip. What is up, Mr. Justin? What's let's see. So this is a right hand, left hand tip up carry. It does come with another clip for it. So if you want to flip it around, so this is in the right hand tip up orientation, and then it does come with the left hand clip as well, because it is kind of shaped. So it does have the shape to it, so you can't really flop it to the other side. So that's going to be one thing that does come with it. So all the folks, the left-handed population, I think it's like what 10% of the population is left-handed. So it looks out for those 10% crowd for this knife here. But it's really good. It's also cautionary. It does drop shut fairly well. So as you're doing that, you got to kind of have it in a downward position, because even in that position, it touched my fingernail there. So it has a good action for it. It's a mixture of probably the blade weight as well as just the action for it itself. But this is a really good one. I found the name of it, so I did a little bit of research on it. I asked her as well as far as what the name, how to pronounce it. So right now they're going with Scylla. It's basically the name is spelled SCYLLA. So I was able to look it up and then found one of the pronunciations as Scylla. So that's going to be the name as far as how this one is pronounced. So that's going to be how that will go for this one here. For the weight-wise, weight on this one, it is still weight relieved on the inside of it, so that it does have the pocketing for that. Still comes in at 4.4 ounces. So if folks have been following as far as the regular reviews, I transitioned to a different measurement for that. So basically 4.4 ounces is going to be a 22 quarters. So 22 quarters kind of looks like this. I should have stacked it up a little bit better. But so if you have just following through with like a regular review cycle, kind of you have a little bit of things that you could have kind of preset. So if you're watching my reviews, then you can actually get some quarters for yourself to actually get some measurement for that. And then also going to play around with the thickness on things to actually see, okay, well, what does a thickness look like as far as a blade stock? Because this one, blade stock wise, is going to be about 3.48, and I think that's about 2 quarters. Let's see what this is. 3.3. So yeah, it's roughly. So if you put 2 quarters together, that's pretty much what the blade stock on this knife is. So 22 quarters to get the full weight in hand, and put 2 quarters together, and that's going to be pretty much the thickness on this blade as far as how that goes. All right. Appreciate you stopping in, Poet Fisherman. Appreciate the comments too that you have. But we'll see how that goes. So Scylla was one of the two water beasts Odysseus had to avoid in the Odyssey. Interesting. I guess how's the pronunciation on that? Would it be Scylla as far as the name, Charles? Ooh, moving my chair. So, but that's what I have for this one. Price wise, MSRP is going to be about $69.99 as far as how that goes. So $69.99 is probably going to be somewhere in the $50 price range, I would guess, when it hits the market as far as regular retailers, which I'm not too sure. But again, I only found one website that actually had it advertised for the knife. Cool. Thanks, JB. But so that's going to be this one here. What else do I have for it? So behind edge thickness on this one also is about 5 sheets of paper. So again, another one of those things that you normally have around your house. So if you take 5 sheets of paper, that's going to be behind edge thickness for the knife at the belly. It's a flat grind. And then I think this would be considered kind of a modified Warncliffe blade. I think that's what that would fall under for this one. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. That's what I'm guessing. Works pretty well in and out of the pocket as well. Yeah, pretty good geometry on it. Again, it's a little bit possible pinching thing that could go with it, but able to run through all the different methods as far as opening it. But that wave feature that they talked about at SHOT Show, it was a little bit difficult to do. I couldn't get it really to front flip. It was actually catching in my pocket. So I'm sure if you practice it, the designer that was there, he actually did do the front flip for the knife, and it worked pretty well for it. And then also, folks, for just joining in, if you do have the different colors, so it's going to have a black stonewash, black G10. There's going to be also the black stonewash and blue, and then this one is the satin and black. So that's the 3 variants that they have currently for this model. But do you guys have any questions about it? Do you guys have any other questions? Because that's where it's still a discussion. I know I've been talking for it, but so that's all the different methods to open it up. So you just have the front flip methods that are differently available for you. You also do have this one does inertia flip. Again, that's kind of something that you have to force, but you can inertia flip it out. And then also does have a pinch and roll, so you can actually just hold the blade like this. It actually does have a good rollout on it too, so you can actually just roll it over. So it doesn't affect. So when you're rolling it over, it doesn't hit the actual handle, which is actually really good. So it actually is really enjoyable if you just want to roll it out slowly. Yeah, if you don't know what to call it, just a modified Warncliffe, modified whatever you want to do, modified drop point, and that's kind of where it falls into all those different categories. There is not a gold one, so those are the 3 variants that I know of. That's going to be, at least on their website, that's what they show at this point where you can order it right now. So that's going to be, again, those 3 color variants. Will they come out with another one? Maybe. I haven't really seen any gold ones come from Steel Will, so I kind of doubt that they will have that. Normally they go with like a blue color, a red color, black. I haven't seen gold from them for their knives. I actually don't own any Steel Will, so this actually might be the first one that I might pick up, because I've handled some of the other ones like the Cutjack. Cutjack had its time when it was really popular and people really liked it, and then it kind of died down a little bit. So they're slowly, I think they're getting their groove back and finding their way in the market, because it really changed a lot from where it used to be to where it is now, as far as all the different things that have come out over time, and just the sheer amount of knives that are out there. It gets ridiculous sometimes as far as what's out there, but that's going to be this knife here. I like it. I mean, that's again just one that when I walked through their booth, I was able to handle the other knives that were there, and this is the one that I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely one I want to check out. So they sent it over, and yeah, D2, it's really slicey too. Let's see if I have some cardboard around here somewhere. What's up, Peter? Sorry, USPS. This is a new box, but this one, it's just that is sweet. So it's a flat grind, and yeah, 3.5 millimeter blade stock, and that slices nice. Like it's like smooth. Very nice. Very nice on this one. What's up, Christine? How's it going? You guys both have on different phones? Or one of you at work? So this is going to come around to the group. So if you guys want to check this one out, this will be available for everyone. So that's going to be this one. What other questions do you guys have for things? Because that's all the methods for it. Yeah, I got 3.7 inches flat grind, 22 thousandths behind the edge, 4.4 ounces D2, and then yeah, that's what I got with that. He's outside. Yep, and also yep, you do have the other pocket clip too. So if you want to rock the other pocket clip, you can do it that way. And if you want to fully ambidextrous, I guess you can get another one and like rock both pocket clips. I wonder if that would ever be a standard. Like that would be really weird. But is this going to be the new standard or new trend? Double pocket clip. You can put it in either pocket. Fully ambidextrous. Well, the lock's not ambidextrous, but you know, if you got them. That's that. Don't really have much else to go. That's about all I have for that one. That's going to be, I think, one of the few that came from Steel Will for us. Really nice blade. If you guys want to check it out, it's on Steel Will's website currently, and then it is a really nice one. I have really just that one, so I'll probably order it at some point to see what it looks like. Let's see. Yep, backspacer is blue on this one. So blue aluminum backspacer, anodized. So I think this one and then the black blade is still the blue anodized. I'm not too sure what the blue one is. It's probably a black backspacer, but it's a really cool looking knife. Oh, failed that one. There we go. Yeah, so for a front flipper knife, it works really well. It goes through all the methods. So it's a very good one as far as how it operates, how it works. And then anybody want to see the progress on my knife? Because it's getting there. I know some of you have already seen it, but I'll show it to anybody that hasn't seen it yet. I'll put a picture on my phone. Hopefully it's shown all right. Where is it? I'll have to do a video update on that, but it seems hard with everything that's going on. Like it's taken a long time to get from the initial drawing was back in June 2019 to currently. So it's still going, still waiting for it. They said it's going to be done soon. They sent some pictures over, but it's taken a bit. Where is it now? Picture. Yeah, so still going to try and get everything down to the 14C28 for the steel, G10, it's going to be probably aluminum pivot collar, G10 backspacer for the knife. I don't know where I'm. Oh, there it is. So I'll show this one first. This one is Misheard Knife Reviews helped me with this one. So it kind of shows some color changing. So as far as which ones would work well for the knife handle. So right now it is black with red um, pivot collar and red backspacer for it. And I'll find the other picture as well to show you what the blade looks like. Hopefully it works well. It's a and like this is like the base of the mountain to actually climb this thing. So there's going to be a ways to go before this is to market, but this is kind of the initial one. So there's a video they sent of kind of the action for it. And then they said that I can have that too. So I'm going to actually have that. So I'm probably going to frame all this like behind me on a wall or something, starting from the drawing to like all the different pictures. I'll have this one up there. I'll have the 3D prints. So that's going to be how that'll work as far as getting this going. And because it's a process. I mean, for anybody that wants to get into it, I'll help out as much as I can. I'm still learning. I'm going to go a Kickstarter route. Hopefully that works out pretty well. And then we can kind of get things going from there. But let's find the actual pictures somewhere. Pictures. Where are the pictures? I have them somewhere. There we go. So this is one of them. Uh, currently, there's the handle. This was. Where? There it is. So I'll get the plastic one out. Yeah, I know you wanted an update on it, so I'll do a regular video on it. But it's kind of difficult, as I was saying, because there's such a break in time. Like it's hard to put something out there and then like people lose track of it or like forget about things. Hey, thanks a lot. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's a ways. Like I'm starting the website now, getting the PayPal set up, and there's a lot of different things. So this is the plastic version of the knife. So there's pretty much the dimensions that it's going to be as far as everything goes and looks like. So this is the one that's actually in existence currently. And then we'll have things interchangeable. So the pivot collar, yeah, I can't zoom in. So the pivot collar now will be interchangeable. I have to still figure out all the colors. So, but the pivot collar and the backspacer will be interchangeable, so you can kind of make it your own. The thumb stubs will be removable. So for sharpening purposes. So these are kind of the pivot collars. So they're anodized aluminum pivot collars. So that's going to be interchangeable as well. The reason for those instead of like a titanium is because you can't get the colors with titanium. So that's why it was either aluminum or G10. So I just told them to go with either one. My initial one was to go with aluminum because it has a little bit of a sheen to it. But they were thinking it might be G10. They went with aluminum, so it's probably for reasons is a little bit stronger. So it's going to still have a little bit of a backspacer for it. So the liners for the knife. So other than a full liner, it's just going to have a liner that's going to be kind of up by the lock mechanism, similar to probably like a Benchmade in a sense. And so since the locking mechanism is up here, that's where the actual liner will be. And then the rest of it's going to be a G10 slab. So that's going to be, it's not going to have metal going all the way down. It's going to be G10 slabs on both sides. And then also with the little metal liners. So that's the plan for it. I haven't had it in hand yet. It's almost done. I'm excited and nervous and everything else that comes along with it as far as getting this in hand. And then the blade is that one. Oop. So that's pretty much these. Oop. Yeah, everything's mirrored. That's what I was thinking about actually for Jade, for anybody that wanted to do full colorations. So the hard part is I cannot have like unlimited colors. That doesn't work for production. So it would have to be, there would have to be some type of group consensus for folks that are interested in picking it up, because black I'm probably definitely going to go with. And then I was definitely, hey, Christine, appreciate it. Purple's the way you want to go with that. Yeah, purple seemed to pop pretty well for the knife. But so that's the colorations that I'm looking at. And then going back to, so I'll run through the other one as far as being able to see all the different colors. So this kind of gives you an idea as far as all this mirroring is kind of hard to work with. Vote pink. Hey, pink's cool. But those are all the ones, at least for black. Like green, I think looks good. I was going to go initially red, blue, possibly orange, but green kind of looks pretty neat on there. And then kind of inadvertently too, like it kind of goes along with kind of the blue line, red line, like for firemen, police officers type of thing. I don't know if it ever translates to that, but that might be something that's kind of an interesting take on it, because the backspacer itself is going to be a color. Also the pocket clip is going to be titanium. So there's going to be kind of the pocket clip there. Hopefully the pocket clip works, because I'm playing around with it. I played around with kind of the spacing behind it, and then also gone with kind of more of a ball type of interaction. So I might regret that, but I'll see once I get it in hand and actually mess around with it. I'm going to have it go around. So I'm making 4 prototypes. And then with those 4 prototypes, then I'm going to have them go around as well to the group. So we'll see how that goes. Because I want to get it in folks' hands. I will probably have a usable version where you use it, put it to the test, not abuse, but use, can be sharpened back and everything else for it. So the blade, I found I like a little bit of flat for it. So it's not a recurve, but it's going to be basically a flat, and then it has a curve for the tip. Also, when I designed it, I wanted basically the tip to definitely be along with the pivot line. So I went with that for there. Hey, thanks guys. I appreciate it, Zach. And then I also got to decide what to, yes, QSP is going to be, is working on it. So since I already had a relationship with them, and this is their first button lock, so that's where it's taken a little bit of time to get it going, because it's not to say that they don't have the ability, because they do. It's just that it's a little bit more intricate things with it. And then, I mean, I even had Kaiser say it's too complicated, and Kaiser had Tangram, and Tangram was a button lock. So I was kind of surprised by that when I was initially searching around. And I'm probably going to make a video too, because then like as much as I wanted this to be made, like initially I was going to make this in the United States, and I can't find anybody to make anything. Like the market for production OEM just is not there. Yeah, Kaiser said that. It's so that was kind of interesting. that they said it was too complicated. But so that's going to be it's I can't find OEMs in the United States to actually make a knife. So maybe if you're really big, maybe if you have a big pocket, I mean a checkbook, then it works really well. But it just doesn't. I can't find folks that do folders. Fixed blades are a little bit easier because there are some out there. There's one in Massachusetts that I was talking with recently. If I ever do a fixed blade, I might be able to do a fixed blade United States made knife. But right now, this is kind of where that is. Yeah, and that's where I'm going with it, and there's been a lot of discussion as far as only support U.S. Knife makers and everything like that. I agree with that to a point because it is something that is important. Definitely do that, but um, also for the if they're bringing in foreign knives, then normally they have basically their purchase price, then they bring it into a markup where they're selling it for, and they're employing people, and they're employing the U.S. Postal Service and UPS and FedEx and everybody else that's shipping out. And so there's a little bit more to just don't buy foreign products. Uh, Buy and support U.S. Produced items, and then eventually it'll get more and more, and there'll be that infrastructure for it. Right now, the infrastructure for making knives in the United States is not there that I could find. So if somebody is aware of those things, then do let me know as far as that goes. Oh, you have? Oh no, you got to let me know then, because this one's might I still might be able to do a different iteration as far as US manufacturing, but if you're aware, Justin, then I probably will talk to you about that as well, because um, anybody that I've talked to about things is normally too busy. So they're actually the ones that yeah, they're too busy with their own line, or they're too busy to reply, or down the line as far as things go. But there just wasn't any progress for it. Yeah, I mean, there's still something to support American products. So it's a touchy subject. It's kind of something that's really been brought to light with everything going on because the whole supply chains and everything else that goes down. Oh, nice. Yeah, well, let's talk about that. But this is going to be the one, and then also yeah, removable thumb studs for it. So if you're using a fixtured system, you can still grab it up here because it's going to be a flat, but that's going to be removable as well. So it'll be if you just don't like thumb studs, just I guess take it off and like put like a filler piece of plastic or something in there to give it a little bit of pop. But that's the progress for this one. Progress, but the companies. Oh, well, these companies come here to produce. Yeah, I mean, like most of your Toyotas are made in the United States. So that's kind of an interesting thing about some of that. But the main profits go out of the country, which is, I guess, to a lot of people's point, is that the end profits do leave the country. And if you are supporting a U.S. manufacturer, most times that stays within the country. Yeah, yeah, cold steel. It's Taiwan. People still feel better about Taiwan, but yeah, it's still a foreign produced product. I don't think anything in is. I don't think cold steel makes anything in the United States because they're still a producer. So still the same like CRKT, they're a producer. They don't make anything. Uh, Kershaw has their line. Benchmade has their line. Leatherman, of course, Gerber's starting to come back. Hopefully they can get things under control. All right, take care. Have fun with dog. Yeah, but I was really surprised. Like, if you go back to, like, I went back to some toys that I remember when I was a kid, and I was really surprised that they were made in China still. So it's been around for a long time. I mean, it is a legitimate thing that, like, it takes a long time for the market to change. So definitely it's something to look into, because I think a lot of our manufacturing went away because they were trying to do a lot of tech jobs. So they were like, well, let's get rid of all the manufacturing and let's bring all the tech and all these other things over. Yeah, I mean, I guess what's your guys' take on it as far as where you feel things should go? I guess if it is to buy American products, I mean, where do you start? Because I mean, there's still there's supply chains and everything else, and I was talking about before, as far as um, just because, like, so this is going to come from China. So my knife will be produced in China at this time, because again, that was the cooperation that I had. Um, Other avenues weren't available. So this will come from China, as far as a production price, to what I have. There will be a markup for it, because I'm trying to build a brand. It's very interesting as far as how to do that, but I just, it's going to be a process to be able to do that as well. Yeah, it's a touchy subject with everything, because there's a lot of different hands in the pot and different reasons why people do what they do. So that's the hard part about everything. Yeah, there's a lot of knives that are like that, designed in the U.S. and made overseas. But again, if it was available, so I guess that would be the call out. It is, and then also, Justin, if the folks in the Midwest, if they wanted to get into a market that is, like, decimated for the United States, it would be to be an OEM, like, to get, like, making 30 knives at a time for different folks and getting that production going and ramping it up, because that's something that just does not exist in the same type of format as it does in China. In China, you literally, if you have a design, so there's anybody that wants to make a design. If you have a design on a napkin and it's like a rough sketch, and you like, I want to make this in S45, I want it to be titanium, I want it to have this and that, and this is my napkin. You can give it to them, they'll render it for you, they'll send it back to you, they'll give you a 3D print, they'll do all those things in cooperation and getting you there, and that's from a napkin. So that's where, like, you can do those things within the production side, and that just doesn't exist in the United States. That's not something that's available. That's not something that um, is offered without a very hefty premium, if you can even get your foot in the door. So again, if folks know where those things are, let me know as far as that goes, because it's something that should have some light to it. So if there's companies that are doing that, that aren't getting the attention they need, then bring it up and we'll talk about it, because that's something that's really important, and that's something that, in going through this process, it's something that is very apparent as far as something that's not around. I wish I could find forces. Yeah, it would be good if you can pull together, because then there's a lot of people with a lot of different skills, and it could be successful, because even if it was farmed out to a market, like a certain division of that said company would be a marketing side, one would be graphics side, one then they would send over to, okay, these are the folks that do the heat treat for it, these are the folks that do The screws is the first person that does the handles, and it all comes together, gets assembled. Packaging, that's another thing. So so even for as much as I wanted to make something like in the States, like I tried, like this, I try to go back a little bit because this is something that's frustrating. So if I'm approaching your company to make a box and I say, I want to make a box, you're in the United States, you produce in the United States, how much would it cost to make this box? And then they tell you, we're not going to quote your price because China will beat us. It's like, quote me a price and I might pay the money to make it in the States. Like, why? Like, it's like such a defeatist attitude about it. Like, that's like absolutely asinine as far as how you would say that, like I am a consumer. I'm asking you to make something. How much would it cost? We're not going to quote you because China will beat us. It's like, what? They already beat you. Like that type of attitude. They already like any other company. Like I approached a few different brands that through Google searching to try and find just a box producer for the product, and I can't get a quote, or like one of them I got a quote, but they cost more than a knife. Like it was like they made for like I don't know, like Versace or something else, but they were like expensive. Like that was like wow. It was probably a human like a fantastic box, but oh my goodness, that was an expensive box. So I could not do that. But that's just crazy about some of those things. But if there can be some type of uh, collaboration, I had seen something online before about like different CNC shops. There was like some type of app that you could coordinate with different CNC outfits to generate a product. And I don't remember what that was. So I wonder if that could do what I'm thinking about. Probably be more expensive. It would be more expensive, but it would if it could be done and it could have a line that started and people doing things, then it could get a lot better. Yeah, definitely have to go to smaller shops. So that's going to be it's going with a smaller shop that has the correct mindset. The You can build a correct partnership, and then you can grow together. It's going to be a symbiotic thing where it's like, okay, well, this is the plan, this is our goal, and this is where we're going to go with it. No, I appreciate it. It's something that like I'm passionate about it. As I don't get passionate about a lot of stuff, and I'm pretty passionate about the project and on what I'm trying to do, and it just brings up to a light as far as a lot of different things that are in the industry, and like what it takes to do things, and where like the amount of work that it goes into. Because if I was just design this and selling it off, it would be a lot easier for me because I would say, okay, this is my design. Um, so and so, I'm going to collaborate with you folks. They buy the design or they pay me per unit, and then they package it, they ship it, they do the logistics for it, they'll market it, and then that's a bit. But in trying to make a brand out of it, which is an interesting process on its own. It's okay. Well, this design, this is what I want to make. I'm down to same as design side. I'm down to like, well, I want this corner to be a little bit more rounded. The initial print, I made this 4 millimeters bigger as far as that front choil, and then after that, then I'm having to um, pick up, okay, well, what do I want my logo to be? What packaging do I want? What size do I want? What color do I want? What do I want on the box? What do I want in the box? What type of packing material do I want in the box? What do I want on the website? What type of website do I want to go with? Which site do I want to go with? Which pay site do I want to use? Once I do logistics, what am I going to do for that? what type of printer do I have? What type of things am I going to do for the printing side? Who am I going to send it to? How I'm going to send it out? There's a lot of different things that go into it. And it's fun, frustrating, and fun at the same time. No, I'm in Oregon, so I'm not in LA. Not too far from LA though, but I'm in Oregon, Salem to be more precise. But that's kind of the journey of the whole thing. It's kind of went far away from talking about this, but I think I'm gonna have to do a video on that. Probably once I get the actual prototypes in hand is when I'll do like a kind of a full video from like, okay, this is where it started to here and here and here, and this is where I am. Because again, I don't know if it's the incorrect way of thinking about it, but I don't know if putting information out now and saying like, okay, well, this is the information and it's not going to be out till like this amount of time. Uh, it just seems like there's a lot of concern with how long things take. And again, this is since June, June till present, as far as how that this all started to where I am now. Um, and yeah, I mean, that's so almost a year to get productions. But yeah, but I think that would be a good thing if we could actually put something together, because there's definitely a market for OEM production. It just would have to be putting all the pieces together, getting the right partnerships, and then seeing how that would all work. Because in the end, as far as whether you're working with one shop doing everything or 20 shops doing all the different pieces, it has to meet up to a baseline cost for the company to actually produce through you. So there is going to be probably a little bit higher cost being American made, but that's where you have to make sure that those partnerships are doing that properly. So if you're working with somebody and they're saying, yeah, we have a machine shop, we're doing all these things, 100% American made, and they're importing parts, that could hurt the whole company. Like if you actually put something together, because then that takes away from kind of what you're offering, as far as saying this is a fully American produced and made product, and then you have other supply chains come into it, would be something that would ruin that. But definitely something that's available. It is a market that could be totally dominated if it actually can be produced and done well. Yeah, Peter's Heat Treat is a reputable shop. I don't know how much they cost per blade or like what the runs look like. Yeah, but cryo. Oh, they're cryo too. Yeah, so that's a good way to do it. Cryo is kind of that next part, and it's something that even the China market doesn't have. So even for the push to get like the most performance out of knives, the infrastructure for most China produced knives, they don't have the cryo treatment available, because it has to be within the actual tempering side of the knife. So it has to be done, I think, within an hour or 2 hours from when it's actually uh, within the heat treat process. You can't like take it back home and then just cryo the thing. It's not going to do anything. Like that's where I was talking to some other folks, and like there's like the cryo treatments of products that they say that it makes it so much better. And it's kind of like snake oil, because then like once it's kind of set, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to move. So that's kind of an odd thing. In order to get made in America, 51%. Yeah, I mean, That's yeah. I mean, yeah, 51% to get made in the USA. I think if it actually would be really successful, I would say that to get it would be a benefit to build it as 100%, or maybe at least a goal towards 100%. So you might start with certain like screws or something else that are imported, because that's probably the most tedious, and the machinery to do that would be easier to import the finished product, and then work on building the scales and the liners and whatever else. That would probably be the things to import to make that be successful. Yeah, $35 a blade is high. I mean, because then I guess yeah, yeah, that's going to be hard. Yeah, oh no, I mean, I can see what you're saying, Charles. I'm not saying that that's wrong to be 51%, but I think if if you would want to build it to something that was really kind of that shining star, like that, like American made, manufactured, like it would be a goal to get to 100% eventually, even if you are at just 51% starting out, and then with a goal over time to get to 100%, because it's rebuilding an industry that's dead for the most part. I mean, you still have people that do it, you still have small makers, you still have people that are working on it, but to the extent that, I guess, I mean, you still have Kershaw and you still have Gerber that's making a run at it again. So Leatherman. So there's still the shops that are doing it, but OEM is missing. So you have the brands that are doing it. So it's almost reversing that. So where did all these companies come from? They came from OEM, then the market changed, and then they became brands. So we, Civivi, Best Tech, all these folks, they did not start uh, Ganzo, Sanrenmu. They didn't start as a brand. They didn't. So not like Kershaw. Kershaw is a company and a brand. Benchmade's a company and a brand. Um, they didn't start as a brand for a lot of those other ones. They started as an OEM and then they became a brand. So that's what's, I think, the same type of mentality. I feel that it should be back to, okay, well, these, you'll be in building an OEM operation. And then once the OEM operation is successful and operating, then there could be thoughts of making a brand out of that OEM, but it would be OEM first and then brand second. So that's where it's building that reputation, that respect for the market to actually have that work. Oh, well, that's not bad. $5 or $7 per blade. And I'm sure, I mean, most productions are a few hundred blades. So that's probably going to be a part where that would be a little bit easier for Peters. Yeah, because $35, that's, you can't, that, no, that's too much. Like if it was $35 a blade, like that's not sustainable. That is something that would not work at all. $5 to $7 a blade, still, especially for a budget blade. I mean, you think a budget blade, you're gonna sell even if you said $100, and then you're taking like $10 or $7 for a heat treat. Now that's going to be hard because you have production, then you have the wholesale, dealer, retail. Uh, so there's still like steps in that. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, one blade, I can see if you can do that one off. $5 to $7 sounds a whole lot better. And even for 50 blades. So it could probably be worked out pretty well because to have it be successful, you're going to have OEM manufacturing be a few hundred. It's not going to be, um, it probably would be hard to say as an OEM, you'd go, okay, well, I guess you have to start somewhere, but to say if somebody brings you a design and do 50 blades, and those 50 blades are going to be pretty expensive. So but anybody that wants to chat about this stuff, I mean, let's talk about it, because I think it's something that is definitely there. And if there could be folks on the forefront of it, could actually build something really amazing. Sadly, this is discontinued. I went to Kershaw's website, and this is no more. Been around for a long time, and it's no longer around. Kershaw Skyline is dead. Nope. Yeah, I think for the labor market is expensive in the United States, and that's where I think the automation side is kind of offsets that. So you have skilled labor with automation to offset for labor by itself. So if you had somebody on a cutting wheel or something, or a bandsaw cutting out your blade blanks, versus somebody that programs a sheet and it water jets the thing, the return is going to be better with the water jet versus one person cutting blanks. So that's where it would have to be a kind of a mix of automation and skilled labor to actually have it work. Interesting where things go. I think that's one thing that's nice about live streams is it can kind of go everywhere, and it's something that I've thought about. I mean, it's something that could definitely be a benefit. Do you have your own blade, Justin? I didn't know you were working on your own design. Oh, throwing stuff here. No, yeah, definitely. Anybody that wants to talk about it, reach me on Instagram. That's probably the easiest way to communicate in that manner, and then can kind of bounce things back and forth and actually look at things. Shoot, you're making stuff already? You're ahead of me. That's awesome. I know, right? When are you going to share that? I'll keep it hidden. You're going to just drop it on us. They're still selling it, but that's probably what their lineup is, because on the Kershaw website it says discontinued. So probably whatever they produced will be it, unless they do a rehash on it or some special run. But the Skyline seems to be well and done for that knife, which is sad. Yeah, but that can be your channel topic. I mean, talk about that. But I'm sure you want to keep it all silent and then just come out of nowhere. It's fine. But I mean, that's really cool, though. I mean, I'd like to. That'd be interesting to see how that goes for your own blade. What's in Iowa? Iowa. I'm thinking Idaho more so, because Idaho is where Chris Reeve knives are. Who else is there? There's a few in Idaho. I think Idaho is another place that produces knives. Isn't Millet in Idaho too? Holt is in Iowa? Iowa, okay. So, but I think Idaho has some. I don't know. There's a lot of cool stuff. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see things come about, because especially with interesting mechanisms. I like interesting mechanisms. Interesting action is really cool. Yeah, bunch in Idaho. I thought that was the case. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, I'll keep you guys updated as far as everything goes and kind of see where everything moves to. But looks like Justin might have his blade out more before I do, but we'll see how that goes. And pocket clips retention is pretty good on this too. With the textured G10, it's a little bit rougher going in and out, but it's not horrible. But yes, let's do that, folks. Let's build up an American market. I think that would be awesome. Late summer, that's really good. Yep, you will beat me to market for sure, because I probably will not be done by late summer. Would like to see it though. Whatever you want to share, post it to your channel. You'll get some hits on that. You'll get some support. Oh, yep. So yeah, you've been working on that for a while then, because I've been working on mine since 19. So you're a year ahead. So still making good progress though. It probably feels like it takes forever, and it's still kind of stressful. At least on my end, it's kind of stressful and kind of so fun and stressful at the same time. It's kind of an odd balance to it. Yeah. So I'm reading the comments. So I'm sorry I'm being quiet here. Yeah, but Charles, like, yeah, it's just building. It would be a good thing to do. I mean, it's especially, I mean, being serious about it is good. I mean, just looking at the picture and seeing who to work with and how to get things up and running, because it has to start somewhere. So there's going to be uh, a small operation, because until you get the capital to just run at it full speed, it's going to be really difficult. I'm going to do Kickstarter, so that's where it's going to be covering production costs, and then and their fees. Because if you didn't know, Kickstarter takes like 10% of the cost. So I know it could be successful with the pre-order, but I think Kickstarter is a kind of an all or nothing thing. So I don't want to take in money, not get to the goal, and I have to refund everybody. I'd rather put it up with an amount that is needed for production, hit it, and hopefully exceed it, and then kind of go from there. Yeah, you're doing well at it. I mean, Justin, you're building a good community with everything, even with all the anodization and some of the things that you're talking about. Thanks a lot. All right, don't work too hard there. Maker's Mark is coming. I have it already, as long as nobody takes it. So I'm working on it. I do have a brand idea, but then I don't have a model idea name, because then yeah, I don't have a model name yet, but I have a brand idea. That's why I'm working on the website and trying to get kind of the baseline things done. And I'm going to take like I'm going to use the community as kind of a guinea pig. So that's where I'm going to actually go and have my used knives up, and then so when people buy those, then I'll be able to see how the ordering system works and how I'm going to process the logistics of it to send things. And if I can get that done well, then hopefully I can ramp up to an actual production run and production shipping, which is an ordeal in itself. Indiegogo is pretty much the same thing as Kickstarter. There's going to be a fee. I think GoFundMe takes a little bit less for their fees, I think. But Indiegogo is probably right along the lines of Kickstarter. And then both Indiegogo and Kickstarter are pretty reputable. And that's why kind of went with Kickstarter instead of Indiegogo. No, that's good menace with a knife. I mean, you got to have your stand as far as where you want to go with things, and to be able to sell off what you have and have only the American-made knives. I mean, it's a good stand for it. Yeah, I mean, it would be. I don't know. I don't know how that would look as far as a production run and everything, but this is a good button lock. But price wise, I don't think they're gonna do. It's gonna be pretty high because, I mean, this one is on drop for like 240. It is 20 CV, but 240s for the blade. I think it goes up to like 270 for this button lock. It's a good button lock. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know if they have like a budget or what a budget would look like. But yeah, having a ProTech made blade would be add some bit of reputable sense for the knife. But Charles, if you're still here, Charles, you're still here. So yeah, reach out, Charles, if you guys want to talk about those things. It would be kind of interesting to mold around and see how that would look. Uh, Justin, you're already ahead of the ball, so you already have some things already in the works, which might actually help to actually make that more reality. Uh, Ground the secondary bevel. So is that what you're referring to as ground better? Because that's what I found is it's very inconsistent for the grind. So this is a pass around knife, so I don't think anybody sharpened it, but it's a little inconsistent. And it's kind of a funny feeling too, because it's a flat grind, and then like here it gets a little bit thicker and thinner again, which is kind of interesting. I probably add some strength to the tip, but just kind of odd. Because what do you want behind the edge? Because I think this one was like 22 thousandths, which seems like kind of a standard production. Oh, yeah, about 22 thousandths. That seems about normal for primary. Because would it be better thinner? Probably. Yeah, 12 to 16. Is that what you're going for yours? Because it seems like in most production side, they don't run it that thin. Because I think the thinnest production one that I knew of was probably, I mean, some of the Wii's get pretty thin, but uh, the Manly knives, that was a really thin behind the edge thickness. Uh, and then I think there's even other portions to it because for it depends on what media you're cutting. But like this is with this being a 3.5 millimeter blade stock, and then I think this is like 22 thousandths. This slices really well. Like I was really surprised when I could put it to cardboard, and that's just single wall cardboard, but it cut really well. 10,000s. Whew. Yeah, you're going to get a lot of people that will like that, because there's definitely the folks that chase after that behind edge thickness as far as what they want. Yeah, that'd be really good. 0.95. That's like 2 millimeters. About 2.5 millimeters ish. Yeah, that should be a good blade overall. For mine, I'm going with a 3 millimeter blade stock. So my blade stock is going to be 3, and then each scale is probably 4 millimeters each. So I think I'm about 11 or 12 millimeters in all. So it should be pretty close to this, which I hope. Yeah, so that would be a good one. Definitely interesting to see. That's I think what's hard about it is, like, there's so many other factors. Like, behind the edge thickness is one thing, and then you have the primary bevel as far as what that is. So that's where there's just so many other factors on it, because like if you had a really thin blade, and then you had a behind the edge thickness of like even 10,000ths, but then you had a 3 millimeter blade stock, I mean, you're going to have a pretty big ramp. That's where there's a whole bunch of different factors in it. And then you have the hollow grinds and everything. But I hope this slices well, because this is going to be pretty much a high flat for it. It's going to come up to probably about here. So hopefully it goes well. Alrighty. Probably going to end this pretty soon, but for anybody that would like to chat about things, it'd be interesting to get on the forefront, trying to figure out even how to coordinate some of those things would be kind of interesting. Justin, you already ahead of everything, and you already have kind of some contacts, which is really cool. Charles, if you have some experience in it as well, that might be kind of interesting to see as well. But it's a process. It's something that is moving along, and we'll see how it goes. How are you going to package your stuff, Justin? Or is it the OEM going to take care of that for you? All right, Harry. So if nothing else, we'll probably end the show or the live stream. But yeah, seriously, if folks want to talk about it, let me know. Maybe we'll have dedicated live streams for American manufacturing. Um, kind of see if the manufacturers can find us instead of us finding them, because there's a lot of things that happen out there, and there's a lot of different pieces to it, even down to like the laser engravers. Laser engravers are expensive. I mean, I think there's a decent one. It's like probably like what, $15,000 to $20,000 for a laser engraver. And if you're going to be producing knives, you're probably going to be spending like $60,000 on the laser engraver to meet production. So it's kind of interesting. Nice. Fancy. Yeah, that'd be interesting to see as well. Yeah, I try to look out for different boxes, because for me, like, my mentality behind the box is um, I I don't I don't want to box a box as far as that goes. initially I was going to make the box be the shipping box, and then I got feedback that people don't want a sticker on their box. So I'm probably going to go with a box that can ship by itself, and then do a poly bag is my thought. So you'll get the box uh, to you, but then it'll be in a poly bag instead of box in a box, which there might be something there. I mean, little presentation thing for it, but I just don't want a box. Like I would have rather just put the knife in the box and then ship the box, but I'll probably put the knife in the box and bag the box and put the sticker on the box and ship the bag. Oh yeah, that's a really cool idea to actually have it be a display piece that you can actually lay the knife out. That's neat. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, it's gonna take a while. It's to put all the pieces together. So probably everything probably exists already somewhere, but it's just to put the pieces together to make a functioning product is the hard part about it, because you have to coordinate all those things. So I mean, you have to start with somebody saying that I would like to make said knife, and they might come to you with a prototype. They might come to you with a piece of paper. They might come to you with a fully CAD drawing. They might come to you with anything, and then you're going to have to take that, quote them a price as far as how much it's going to produce, how much it will cost to produce their knife in their said materials, how long it'll take, and then meet that deadline. So that's the one thing that is a lot of moving parts to make it work. Well, I mean, I heard something about it. Like, it's a matter of, oh, great, Charles. Yeah, do that. Same Blade Banter is on Instagram. But I think it was Medford's rant on it. But like, if you built up a company, and then like you built up a process on how to do things and people that knew how to build the process, and then you have somebody outsource the whole thing to a foreign country, China, India, wherever it might be. So you send it out, and then you get your profit margin goes up. You get a big payout. Um, it's a little short-sighted, but you're getting a lot more money. So that might be where some of that came from. And again, it's been going around for a long time. I have a little micro machine, little toy, still made in China. I think I had, um, what is it? Transformers. I think that's made in China, but or is it Japan? I think some of it was Japan. At first, it was made in Japan. I think it was Bandai. But either way, it's still outsourced. It's not made in the United States. Yeah, sadly, that is the case. You sell your own people, put them on to other things, cut down to logistics only, and sell product that's made in a foreign country for more money. That's probably the sad thing that happened with Gerber, because Gerber is not owned by, I think Gerber was actually the name of the family, but Gerber's not owned by Gerber. They're owned by the people that make your garden shears, Fisker, Fiker, something, garden tool company. Those are the people that make those or own them, not make them, but own them. But yeah, it would be interesting to start with something. Um, yeah, to get the groundwork. Fes, Feskers. I don't know how to pronounce that. No, so German company. Yep, X scissors shears. Exactly. No, appreciate it. But yeah, if anybody wants to continue the conversation on it, that it's well and open. Um, and it's hard too, because as much as folks want to do that, you're going to have to build a partnership that you can trust in. So that's where you have to actually have a group that actually is working towards a better good, because that's where I think that's where you'd have to get like lawyers involved and the contracts and everything else to actually build something up, because there's a lot of intricacies and a lot of things that could just blow up part way through, which would be horrible. Not physically, but things could happen. All right. Anybody else? Reach out on Instagram if you'd like to talk about anything else. Thank you for everybody that's joining in. If anybody else has any comments, questions, concerns, let me know in the comments before I sign off. Thank you very much, Winchester Inc., for stopping in. Thanks for the support as well and the interest. All right. Take care. Take care. But yes, let me know. But that's about all about that. Thanks a lot. Have a great night. Yep. Have a great night. Reach out. Love to see what's going on with yours. Good to know that you're doing something. Keeping secrets. But thanks a lot. Now I'm going to sign off. Appreciate it very much. Reach out on Instagram if you have more questions. Leave messages in the comments below as well for anybody that's watching after the fact and actually stayed around to actually see it pick up a little bit, because it was kind of a little dead for a little bit, but that's my own fault. All right. Take care. Thanks a lot.